Thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Thurmer. You are a keen observer on diplomatic ties between China and Hungary. So how would you evaluate the current status of the relationship between the two sides?
I think that there is now a real strategic cooperation between the People's Republic of China and Hungary. It is the result of mutual efforts of the Chinese and the Hungarian leadership. First of all, President Xi Jinping and Prime Minister Viktor Orban. I think that both sides understood that we need this cooperation. Our future depends in many ways on this cooperation. And there is a mutual confidence between the two leaders, and it gives the possibility to develop a real deep and wide cooperation.
If we can be a little bit specific here, Hungary was the first European country to become a partner in the Belt and Road Initiative. If we could be a little bit forward-looking here, what do you make of the potential of cooperation in emerging areas such as new energy, artificial intelligence, and biomedicine?
Mm-hmm. You know that the cooperation between our countries can be explained by different factors. Hungary is a small country with a 10 million population in the middle of Europe. We are members of the European Union, but we need economic and political and scientific bridges to the east. And the official policy of the Hungarian government is opening to the east. And when we declared this policy of opening to the east, it met understanding from the Chinese side, because China is developing the One Belt, One Road program. And these two programs now meet and allow to develop a real cooperation. And really, you are right, it concerns not only economic cooperation, but now a very wide aspect of scientific cooperation. The Chinese companies who invest in Hungary, they bring not only the factory itself, but the scientific background. And it's a real good cooperation, including artificial intelligence, biotechnical elements, and so on. Hungary is very good in these fields. You know, we had a cosmonaut who made very good experience in the space, and I think that we can cooperate in this field very successfully.
If we can expand the scope a little bit, just as you mentioned, Hungary is a member of the European Union. So how would you describe Hungary's role in the overall China-European ties?
The cooperation between the European Union and China has a long history. The problem is that the actual leadership of the European Union doesn't understand the necessity of developing cooperation with China. They consider China as a rival. They consider China, some of them consider as a political and economic enemy. And they are afraid of the strengthening economic capacity of China. And naturally, they are concerned because of socialism with China's characteristics. And I think that President Xi Jinping underlined in a very correct way this year during the summit of the European Union and China, that the European Union should find its place in the world. And we Hungarians call the European Union to forget about the past and to build up the future. We need China, and we must not fight against China. We should cooperate with China and to use the possibilities which are created by the economic development of China. Now, unfortunately, it is not the real situation, but we hope that with the efforts of China, with the efforts of Hungary, we can change the situation and to return to a normal cooperation between the European Union and China.
Talking about building a sustainable future for both sides, I think it's fair to say that this future should also be for the two peoples. Now, your party maintains exchanges with the Communist Party of China. How would you describe the role of party-to-party exchanges in enhancing mutual understandings between the two peoples?
You know, I visited China for the first time in 1990. That time I was received by the Secretary General Jiang Zemin. And that time our party made the first steps to re-establish cooperation between Hungary and China. And that time when I returned to Hungary, I was considered as an enemy of the Hungarian people because of my policy supporting China. But now the situation has changed. And between the two states, between the two governments are developing very good contacts. And now we must not play the role of a pioneer in this field. But there are some special tasks which our party can realize. Now, first of all, we should support the main elements of our policy. We always supported the one China policy. Not all the political forces have the same position in Hungary. We always were against any interference into the internal affairs of China. And we support the policy of opening to the East, including such large projects like the Budapest-Belgrade railway, which is really a strategic investment. And now we are developing a very special area. We see that there is a good economic political cooperation, but we need one more field of cooperation, the ideological. And that's why the Hungarian Workers Party, my party, opened last year a China corner in Budapest. We are spreading books about China, organizing conferences. And now we have a new idea to create a think tank for the studying of socialism with China's characteristics and concepts of President Xi Jinping in the new area. It is our contribution to the development of Hungarian-Chinese relationship.
Currently, all countries in this world are facing common challenges in global governance. So what do you make of the significance of the global governance initiative proposed by Chinese President Xi Jinping?
You know, now the situation faces a very, very difficult situation. In Europe, we see economic and political crisis. The classical values are losing its importance. People do not believe parliaments, political parties, governments, media, and so on. Europe couldn't solve the problem of COVID, couldn't solve the problem of poverty. And it means that many political forces, many political governments try to solve the crisis by launching a war. And now we are facing a war in Ukraine, and there is a real danger to be involved into a global war. And in this situation, we appreciate very high the initiative of China and President Xi Jinping to realize a global governance in the world, because there is only one way to save the humanity from war and destruction, and it is the way of global governance. It means that we need a new form of cooperation, not confrontation but cooperation, not war but dialogues, and we need a new model of cooperation, the win-win cooperation, that all the people, all the countries should win something from this cooperation. And we are happy to see that there are also concrete forms of the realization of this policy. I mean the Shanghai Cooperation Organization or the cooperation of the BRICS countries.
Thank you very much, Mr. Thurmer.
Thank you.
Thank you.